Tanzania. Once known for peace, now whispers of fear echo louder each day. Abductions, censorship, worship under siege. In the middle of it all, a voice rises. A voice not just of religion, but of reason.
Na mada yangu ni utekaji katika nchi.
Kupotea kwa watu katika nchi yetu ambako kumezidi sana.
Hapata kuwa na ibada kwenye makanisa yetu yote.
Tanzania si mahala salama. Mtu unaweza kuchukuliwa kwenye hoteli na ukatupwa.
Askofu Gwajima, kwa kifupi sana atoe shukrani kwa niaba yetu sote.
Meet Dr. Josephat Gwajima, a man of many titles and even more responsibility. He is the elected member of parliament for Kawe, Dar es Salaam's business capital, a member of the ruling party CCM's National Executive Council, a bishop leading the largest church congregation in Tanzania, and a parliamentary voice in the powerful committee on Lands, Tourism, and Natural Resources. But in 2025, his titles became secondary. What mattered most was his courage to speak when silence was expected.
Kwa mfano, wewe una mwanao, una mtoto wako kabisa, amekosea, labda ametukana serikali au amefanya uhalifu, amefanya hivi. Taratibu zinazotumika ni kumchukua mtu huyu, kumarrest, kumpeleka mahakamani, ahukumiwe na mahakama. Sio adhabu ya kila mtu ni kupotea. Hapana, hili jambo halikubaliki kabisa. Na sasa ni nani anayefanya haya mambo sasa?
On May 25th, 2025, Dr. Josephat Gwajima stood behind the microphones, not as a preacher, not as a politician, but as a Tanzanian deeply disturbed. He didn't come to campaign. He didn't come to point fingers. He came to break the silence. In a country slowly being muted, he spoke boldly against abductions in the country, with fear spreading like wildfire across Tanzania. He gave names, he gave facts, and he reminded the nation, this is not who we are. He mentioned Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi, abducted after attending court in Tanzania. He mentioned Agatha, a Ugandan activist, also disappeared on Tanzanian soil. According to the Tanganyika Law Society, over 83 Tanzanians have gone missing under unclear circumstances. Businessmen, students, mothers, pastors, journalists, some were found, dumped, lifeless, with signs of torture. These were not isolated incidents. They were warnings. And yet the silence from the highest office in the land was louder than the cries for help. But Gwajima did not shout, he did not accuse. He simply asked, why is this happening? Why is no one answering for it? He reminded the press, the public, and the powerful, this is not politics. This is not opposition. This is about the soul of our nation.
Hii orodha ya waliotekwa ninayo hapa yote, moja na mahali potekewa, nina peji kama peji 18 hivi za watu 83 wanatekwa, kidnapping in our country, abduction.
Sunday, June 1st, a day that should have been like any other. The choir warm, it was just another worship day at Tanzania Glory of Christ. Just a sermon. Bishop Gwajima stood before the congregants. He hadn't come to cause alarm. He hadn't come to stir politics. He came, as always, to serve, to preach salvation, and to explain pain. He wasn't there as a politician, nor as a critic, but as empathetical and also emphasized about the current state of ongoing abductions, missing people, and killings. He spoke of the fear, of the silence, of the shame. He reminded his congregation and clarified why he held that press conference. Not for politics, but for peace. There was no fire in his words, only compassion. A man of faith calling for light in a time of darkness. No blame, no outrage, just a plea to pray. Pray for the abducted, pray for Tanzania. There were no calls to riot, no whispers of revolt, only one call to stand firm in faith.
It is in this time we refuse abductions in our country, disappearances in our country. We will never take abductions and disappearances in a country, Tanzania, as a normal matter. We refuse to do it. And I, as a Tanzanian, will never swallow that people are abducted and everybody's silence. Silence means granting access to evil.
And as the service ended, many thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. Outside the church, a different sermon was being written. One not of peace, but of power. June 2nd, 2025. A day that started with rumors and ended in repression. Across social media, whispers were growing louder. Bishop Gwajima's church is about to be shut down. A letter was said to be circulating, then a government directive perhaps. But inside the church, nothing. No official communication, no visit, no warning, no call. That evening, Bishop Gwajima addressed the congregation with calm resolve. "We've received no such letter," he said. "We are preparing for our evening service as usual."
Nafikiri umeona kwenye mtandao watu wanapitisha karatasi kwamba kanisa la ufufuo na uzima limefungwa. Hakuna wa kufunga kanisa la Mungu duniani. Si kweli, ni uongo, ni wahuni.
And so the church prepared, as it always had. But that night, as prayers were to begin, so did the silence. Then, the sirens. At exactly 11 o'clock p.m., security forces descended on Glory of Christ Tanzania Church. A fleet of police vehicles, armed officers, tactical units. They didn't arrive with dialogue. They didn't knock. They stormed in. Worshippers were violently beaten, tear-gassed, forcefully removed from their house of prayer. Many were wrongfully arrested. There was no court order, no official notice, only brute force and fear. What happened wasn't just a closure. It was an attack on faith, a direct violation of the constitutional right to worship, a right enshrined in Tanzania's own laws. This wasn't just about Bishop Gwajima. It was about every Tanzanian who holds a Bible, a Quran, a rosary, or prayer beads. It was about every voice that dares to pray when power wants silence. That night, a church was not just closed, it was punished. A pulpit surrounded, a prayer disrupted, a people shaken. And as the police drove off into the darkness, one truth echoed louder than any siren. June 2nd will be remembered not for peace, but for persecution. The church doors were shut, but the hearts of millions remained wide open. In the days that followed, from June 3rd to June 7th, Tanzania witnessed not silence, but a deepening wound. No letter of closure was ever officially issued, no legal justification, no dialogue, just locked gates and unanswered prayers. Across the country, over 1.7 million worshipers from more than 2,000 Glory of Christ Tanzania church branches were denied their constitutional right to worship. Every spiritual rhythm came to a halt. No baptisms, no weddings, no church services, only silence. Sunday, June 7th, a day meant for joy and worship, came and went without a single hymn, a single prayer.